Alright, yes, welcome to today's class. So what we're going to be doing today is a topic called it's a different topic apart from the one we did the other time. So what we're doing is chemical bondings and shape of molecules. So that's what we're doing. So the first question states us two elements P and Q with atomic numbers 11 and 8 respectively combine chemically. So with the value of A, X and Y. So A 1 and 1, B 1 and 2, C 2 and 1, D 3 and 1. So this question actually is a question on valency. So what is valency? Valency is the combining power of an element. So valency is the combining power of an element. For example, now if you have something like oxygen is 2,6, atomic number 8, so it is 2,6. So oxygen is, if you look at this is part of the things I'm going to be teaching in the paid class. So if you look at this, normally the complete electron configuration for the noble gases, that is the neon, normally element they want to attain the octets or duplets configuration so that they can become like noble gases. So before oxygen can become 8 from 6, before it can become 8, it needs was 2. So it means oxygen needs to get 2 electrons to become what? 2 8, right? So gaining in chemistry, it means you gain minus. So this is how my chemistry teacher taught me. When you gain in chemistry, you gain I don't want to speak my language. When you gain in chemistry, you gain oriburuku. Oriburuku is negative. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when you gain negative, you gain bad luck, right? So oriburuku is bad luck. So when you gain negative, you gain. So in chemistry, when you gain minus, you gain. When you gain electron, you gain minus. So but if it's some elements like, look at this. This is sodium, right? Although the element we use here is also sodium. The atomic number of sodium is 11, right? So if you look at this now, for sodium to become, now this is what I taught you guys. I taught them. I'm going to teach them in the paid class that when you are, I want to ask you a question. Between 2 8s, look at this. Oxygen is 2,6, right? If you look at oxygen, is it easy for oxygen to lose all these 6 electrons? If you look at it, it's not easy for oxygen to lose all these 6 electrons. So it means oxygen will prefer to gain 2 electrons to become 2 8s. But if you look at this sodium is just 281. So it means it is easy for sodium to lose just 1 electron than gaining 7 to become 288. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So oxygen will prefer, sodium will prefer to lose electron. In fact, magnesium also and aluminium, 3 of them, they will prefer to lose their electron because they are not close to 8, right? But because oxygen is close to 8 already, it's 2,6. It remains just 2 for it to become 8. That's why oxygen is gaining electron, and that's why I said metal they ionize by. That's why we say metal ionized by what? Electron loss. So if you look at sodium now, sodium is an emitter, so electron loss. Why non-metal? They ionize by what? By electron gain. So that's why oxygen gain electron. Yes. Now look at this. So it means if you now lose electron, sodium lose electron. So it means it gains fortunate something. It gains good luck. Positive is good luck. Do you get? So positive is good luck. So that's just it. So sorry. So positive is what? Good luck. So metal ionized by. So another thing you have to know is, so I think I'm done with that. I think you understand what I did now. Now let's go to the question they gave us. So let me try to, I want to try to rub, but don't worry. Look at this. They say two elements P and Q with atomic numbers. So the first element is atomic number 11. So that will be 281. That's sodium. right? But they don't say we should say it is sodium or anything. Now they now say the second element is 8, that's oxygen. So that's what 2 6, right? Now they now say what is going to be their combining power. That's what they're asking us in this question. Now look at this. Now this one, if you want to write the combining power, it will be P plus. Look at this one. This one will be Q2 minus. Look at how I did oxygen 2. Look at how I did sodium 2. Now look at it now. So P plus now, if you want to combine them, it will be P plus into Q into 2 minus, right? Now they now said if they combine, what will be our X, what will be our Y? Now look at this. P plus is the same thing as 1, because but if you have P2 plus, it's the same thing as 2, right? If you have P2 minus, it's the same thing as P2. That is, minus does not mean anything, just remove it, because the question is not asking you about minus. So it's just like having P raised to power 1 and Q raised to power 2. Do you get? So this is the combining power. So our X is 1 and our Y is 2. So this is how to solve questions like this. So whenever you see question like this, you don't need to run away and be crying. So you don't need to do that. Just solve the question and you get your full mark. I hope you get. So that's how to do question like this. Before we go, so as you can just look at the question a little bit before we go to the next question. So please, I hope you understand how I did it. So do you get how I did it? So do you get how I did it? So that's just it. So now look at this. This question actually is what they are trying to ask us to do is we should look for our px and our qy. Do you get? So it means if I go and say this is x, this is y, it will be wrong. So what I want to do is it should be the subscripts, right? So if it should be the subscript, it means this one will be p raised to power 1, q raised to power 2. So it will not be like this. It will not be p2y. So this will be our x and this will be our y. So that's how to do it. So that's our answer. So our answer is what? C. Our answer is C. So that's how to do it. So don't be confused whenever you see questions like that again. So let's go to the next question now. So the next question says dot. So this question is actually on shape. So the shape of carbon 4 oxide, water and methane. You know methane is CH4. That's in organic chemistry. It's part of the things I'm going to be teaching them in the paid class. If you are interested, you can register for the tutorial. It's actually a particular series. It's organic chemistry series. It's a particular course. In fact, it's a course that I teach my students. So organic chemistry. You can also get the course. The course is available for 3,000 naira per month. So you can message me on my WhatsApp number 091 5146 3635. So that's how where the course is 3,000. I talk about organic chemistry, everything you have to know about the basics of organic chemistry, and it also involves a mock, an online mock on it. So away from that, now they say the shape of CO2, water and methane respectively. So let's look at them now. Now I want to ask you, what's the shape of CO2? The shape of CO2 is actually linear. So it looks like something like this. So this is the shape of CO2. So if they ask you what's the angle is 180 degrees. So the shape of water is actually bent. It looks like this. You can say it is V shape, or you say it is bent. So anyone you like. So the shape of methane, so this is methane. Methane is actually tetrahedra. Methane is tetrahedra. It is tetrahedra. So what's the answer like that? So our answer will be linear, bent, and tetrahedra. So that was our answer. So that's the answer for the question. So we'll go to the next question like that. So, and all of them actually has their angle, so you can take note of all of them like that. So I'm going to be talking mainly on something like that. I'm going to talk about, so you can also call it this one, you can also call it angular. So anyone you like. It can be V shape, can be angular, it can be bent. So the question they may use in any question you see in the future, they may use any other term. So take note of that. So let's go to the next question. The same when ammonia and hydrogen bond together. So this hydrogen is actually not hydrogen alone, it is hydrogen ion, but let's just say hydrogen bond. Yes, it's still hydrogen bond. Sorry, it's still hydrogen bond. They are right. So when ammonia and hydrogen bond together to form ammonium ion, the bond formed is called, they said A, ionic bond, B, electrovalent bond, C, covalent bond, D, coordinate covalent bond, and E, hydrogen bond. So the answer is, I will not say it now. Look at this, ammonia. When ammonia bond with hydrogen bond, that is empty hydrogen ion, to form ammonium ion, this type of bond is actually called the coordinate covalent bond. This hydrogen that you see here is going to be an empty hydrogen. It's not going to contribute anything. It's going to be an empty hydrogen. It's just like an husband in a house that is not providing for the wife. So that's how this. So it's a coordinate covalent bond. So just use that method. So it's like an husband that's not providing for the wife in the house, but is eating and is not providing anything. So that's just it. So that's the thing you have to know about that one. So now this is how the bonds exist. So you are going to have something like this. I want to try to draw the structure. So when the bond form to look like this. So look at it. So you can see now this is the arrow pointing to. So this one is the hydrogen bond that is formed between it. So this is it. Do you get? So this is the ammonium ion. If I ask you which bond forms it, it's called was coordinate covalent bond. You can also hear the word dative bond. So it's another name for coordinate covalent bond. So that's the answer for this question, option D. So let's go to the next question. They said which of the following is not true of electrovalence compound. So what do we mean by electrovalence compound? So they said number A, option A, they are solids. B, they do not vaporize easily. C, they usually dissolve in water. D, elements forming the compounds have their valence electron in shear state. E, they conduct electricity. Now what is the properties of electrovalent bond? So you need to know that electrovalent bond is also called what? Ionic bond. Now how do we form electrovalent bond? Electrovalent bond is formed by is a bond that is formed between metal and non-metal. Once you just see metal and non-metal, it is what? Electrovalent bond or ionic bond. Now, what are the properties of electrovalent bond? One of their properties is that they are solids. They do not vaporize easily. They still pass. They do not what? Vaporize easily. That is, they are non-volatile. Another thing is they usually, some of them, not all of them now, but most of them, they are usually soluble in water. That is, they dissolve in water. Though not all of them, there are some of them that are insoluble, and some of them are sparingly soluble, and some of them are slightly soluble. So another thing is they conduct electricity in molten or aqueous states. They conduct electricity in molten or solution or aqueous states. So they are even used as an electrolyte. So something like that, we're going to be talking on that, about that one. That's in electrolysis. It's part of the topic I thought I'm going to teach my students in the paid class. So now let's look at, so what did they ask us to do now? They said they are solids. We all know that one is correct. They do not vaporize easily. That's also correct. They usually dissolve in water. That is also correct also. Now they said D. Option D, they say the elements forming the compounds. Now you need to know something about electrovalent bond. It is a bond between what? metals and non-metals. Now there's something you have to know about them. Metals, they are donors, while non-metals, they are acceptors. Which type of acceptors? They are electron acceptors, while metals, they are electron donors. So it means what metals does is that they transfer electron from their own parts. They will transfer it to what? To the non-metal. So let me use this as an illustration. Just like your father, he had when he wanted to give back to you, he donated his sperm to your mother. So your mother accepted. I'm not saying you are electron, you are not electron, sorry, I'm just using that one as an illustration. So when he donated his sperm to your mother, so it means your mother is the, whatever your name is, maybe your name is Sodiq acceptor, or Emmanuel acceptor, or Evans acceptor. So that's just it. So that same way. So it means it was transferring of electron, transferring of sperm. Do you get now? So in electrovalence bond, what happens in electrovalence bond is what? There is transfer of electrons. Now you need to know something about covalent bond. Covalent bonds, what they do is that they don't transfer an electron in covalent bond. You know, covalent bond is the bond between what? Non-metals. Do you get what I'm saying? So there is a bond between what? Non-metals. So what covalent bond does is what? They share electron. They share what? Electron. Now look at this. Now they now said the elements forming the compounds have their valence electron in shared state. So that's wrong. It cannot be in shared state, because shared state is going to be for covalent bond, but we are talking of electrovalent bond. So the answer will be option D. So that's the one that's not true. So let's look at the fifth one. They said an element with atomic number 12 is likely to be A. Electrovalence with a valency of 1, B. Electrovalence with a valency of 2, C. Covalence with a valency of 2, D. Covalence with a valency of 4. So what do you think will be the answer? Now look at this. An element with atomic number 12, so that's atomic number 12, that will be 2H2, right? So it means automatically it is a metal. We know already. Any element that ends with 1, 2, though not all of them, there are some exceptions. I talk about this in descriptive chemistry of elements. These are part of the things we are going to be doing in the pay class, but this is a free class. I'm not going to talk about that one. Now there are some exceptions. Not all elements that end with 1, 2, 3 are metals, but for your level, let me just put it at that. So whenever you see an element ending with 1, 2, 3, such element is a metal. Now they now say this element has what? Atomic number of 12. So when I wrote the electronic configuration, I noticed that 2 ended, so it means it's a metal. Now before this element, there is no way this element will form covalent bond, because I told you that covalent bond can only be formed by non-metals. Now it means before it can now form, so it means it's going to form electrovalence, because with this it can combine with a non-metal with a what? Valency of 2, because this will be the valency, because let's assume that the element is element A, so it will have what? Combining power of 2 plus, like that, because it's going to lose 2 electrons, because this is 2, right? It's going to lose 2 electrons, so it is going to be electrovalent with a valency of 2, so that will be option B. So the last question here for today, they said the atomic numbers of 2 elements X and Y are 12 and 9 respectively. The bond formed between the 2 atoms of these 2 elements is A. Ionic, B. Covalent, C. Neutral, D. Coordinate. So let's do it. The solution. So the first element X, it has an atomic number of 12, so that would be 2H2. I don't know why we are getting across to 2H2 every time. We still have 9, so that will be 2,7. You already know that is fluorine. Okay, look at this now. So this is the combining power. That's what we firstly do. So that will be 2 plus. So this one now, it will be minus. So bring them together at one side. Okay, let me just tell you now. You don't even need to do what I'm doing. You don't need it. Look at this. This is what? Meta. This is what? Non-meta. I told you that element that ends with 4, 5, 6, 7. They are what? Non-meta. Non-metals. Not all of them, especially people in group 4. Some of them are metalloids. Some things like silicons, germanium, they are not really non-metals like that. So, but let's just focus on what we are doing. So I don't want to go away. So now look at this. I told you earlier on that bond between metals and non-metals is what is coordinate ionic or electrovalent bond. So the answer will be option A. So thank you for watching for today's video. If you want to learn in-depth thing, because what I'm just doing was just solving questions, so it's not really deep. So if you want it to be so deep in, so these are part of the things we are going to be doing in the paid class. If you want to know more about this topic, you can join our paid class. Thank you for watching today's video. Good night and God bless you.